All right. Now that we finished off the good
The
part of
third
the
day is
story,
over. It's time to
now
sadly
it's
return
not,
to
not
the
now
office.
now it's time for the story to take yet another dump into absolute garbage because we're about to finish off the the Wildlands main story, aka
Oh,
the Cayuse main story.
joy.
Even though it's probably going to be the time when we started as well.
For those who don't remember from our 13-2 playthrough, even though we took an entire game just to defeat Cayuse, at
Which,
the
by the way, we do jack shit in the end because we committed suicide by self-stabbing.
Except
Not just
not,
that.
because he's actually alive by the end.
Putting wishes
Yeah.
in the mouths of the dead. That's
Yes,
creepy.
Lumina, we know. Could you please distance your person away from
Even if
us?
she weren't dead, yet you go make
You
it
Also, the
know,
music. Down, down,
you know,
down.
not for nothing, Lumina, but you did help us get Saz's son back, so at this point you've helped the heroes more than actually hinder them, just
Are you
saying.
saying Sarah wouldn't
Like,
Well,
you
to be
know-
fair, Joe, but she never specifically said she was here to ruin Lightning's agenda.
told me to do
Well,
it in the first
remember,
place.
Pedro, she did attack Lightning with a monster as well.
Multiple times. with
Basically-
bosses.
Basically, she's trying to be the sort of ambiguous hope, you know, sort of like how Marluxia was at the start of Chain of Memories. The difference being is like, well, again, she's clearly done more to help than actually hinder. Marluxia only really encountered the heroes for the tutorial, then pretty much left them to suffer for the rest of Chain of Memories until they got to its level. Here, again, Lumina's been more help than hurt to us, and heck, even the monster she summoned against us wasn't really that effective. So honestly, if she's trying to be ambiguous as to which side she's on, I'm sorry, but by all means, try and quote-unquote hinder us. It's only done more to help. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's annoying dialogue-wise still, but in the actual actions of the plot, she's done more to help the heroes than hinder, so, yeah. Oh no.
Well,
like
oh
I
no.
said, I'm
That's the
convinced
thing,
that...
Joe. But this game is completely incapable of nuance or subtlety.
It's like I said, though, at this point, I'm definitely convinced that if she's not born from Sarah, she's probably, I don't know, something taken from Lightning. Like, maybe she's Lightning's personality that the god ripped out of her, and it's taken the shape of her looking like her sister because, I don't know, maybe Lightning looked like that when she was younger or something. I mean, it would kind of be similar to Roxas being Sora's nobody, even though he looks more like Ventus.
Welcome back.
Well, what can I tell you?
And considering how the 13 trilogy likes to rip off some Kingdom Hearts here and there, why not?
Yeah.
That's just rubbing it in the face of those of us who've been waiting even more, probably.
The years that...
Don't
Well,
worry, guys,
okay.
It's almost done.
You know, I
It's
will
almost
admit, on the plus
still have
side,
those memories,
though,
you know,
I am kind of glad
when I
that Kingdom
first
Hearts
met
3 did
Snow.
come out on the
It was
PS4
with
as
my
opposed to the
mother.
PS3,
Her name
if
was
only
Nora.
because the technological
For a
advances
long
will be
time, I
even
wanted
better,
to
and,
kill
well, the
Snow.
PS3 was a
I dreamed
nightmare
of plunging a
compared to
dagger
the
in his heart,
PS4,
whispering
and
my
I
name
actually have a
in his
PS4, so, yeah. Granted, let us just pray that it comes to us this year.
It shall, Joe, it shall.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, buying an X potion to fill in the items that I have.
And God help them if they don't put in a frying pan keyblade.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I would actually be genuinely disappointed.
I still
And God help
Oh,
them
God.
even further if they
Day
bring the...
1 DLC.
And God help them even further if they thought, hey guys, people really did like Atlantica and Kingdom Hearts 2. Let's do that again, but even worse.
and I blame
Nah, Joe.
Like,
don't
seriously,
worry.
seriously,
From what I can tell, Ariel is only present as a summon.
Oh, well, Anna, remember guys, it wouldn't be the first time a character has shown up in a world but is also a summon. Genie and Aladdin, anyone? Like, you know, we go to Aladdin's world, but Genie's still a summon. And who knows,
Oh,
maybe...
look at that! Hope is discussing his emotions.
Really?
Oh, well.
What, is he David Cage?
Yes.
Even if we cannot
Goody.
truly see them, I know that souls must exist in some form. How else can we
Steve Fedora.
explain what happened back on the wrecked ship?
I honestly
between
don't know,
Saz and
Hope,
his
because
son?
the story itself
God is
doesn't
not
really do a good
omniscient.
job explaining
He
it.
cannot see
God is
excuse-
not omniscient.
If,
Isn't
if-
that,
if God is not omniscient, then why call him God?
Well, maybe they're running off of some special logic where gods aren't, you know, powerful gods, but they're more powerful, so
That's
we
the
call
thing,
them
Joe.
gods.
Being like that is just simply called a deity, like that. But we're using the soft pronunciation of Yehovah, which
Well-
is supposed to be the monotheistic god, which, according to the monotheistic religion, is supposed to be omnipotent and omniscient.
Well, to be
Not
fair
in
to
this
you,
case, though.
oh, to be fair to you, a lot of the Greek gods aren't omnipotent either, yet we
That's what
still
I
call
mean,
them
Joe,
gods.
The Greek gods. Remember, most of the mythologies had the god made in the flawed shape of humans, mostly. It's since the monotheistic religions when they started to build up with this idea of God being a complete separate identity, kind of like an alien being that
Alright, so...
transcends good and evil like that.
Alright, first thing to do in today's day is to heal up the poor lost dog.
You know, not to complain too much, but it feels like we've gotten the majority of quests done. Like, let's see, we've gotten Saz's soul saved, we've gotten...
We saved Snow, we saved Noel.
We saved
Well, those
Fang.
are... Well, yeah, those are main... Well, we haven't saved Fang yet, Joe.
thought
Fang
we
is still waiting
had.
for us at the desert.
Oh, no.
we haven't.
What I meant is, like, I'm pretty sure that we got our
Vanilla
soul. I mean, we got our soul saved.
No, we haven't. No, we only get Fang's soul at the climax of the game.
Okay.
I'll point it out to you.
Okay, my point is, like, well,
Oh god, no, please don't do it again with the dog.
Okay, here's my point, though. Ratio-wise, this is only the third day, and it feels like we've gotten way much done on something that has a
Pedro,
total
don't
of
do it.
13 days.
Exactly, Joe, but that's because, as I've already explained in the previous part, if you know what you're doing, you can basically render the clock completely useless because the game gives you way too much time to do these things. Like, there's literally no pressure on you at all. Like the game, you can easily get all the main quests done in under 4 days if you know what you're doing, and then you'll have plenty of time to do all the necessary side quests if you want to go for the extra 14th day for the artist boss and shit.
Now, okay, on the one hand,
The
I
game gives you way too much lenience. It should have had a tighter clock.
Now, on the one hand, I guess that unlike Majora's Mask, this means that nobody forgets anything, because, let's be honest, there's no way you're going to be able to do Majora's Mask in one sitting without having to reverse time, which sadly kind of undoes some character development you do in a certain side quest or whatnot. However, that is the only advantage this has over that. And honestly, even with that, the content here is not worth salvaging, because you barely get to know these people. Heck, one of the guys was the detective whose soul you literally saved by bringing him 10 steps forward to a train stop that he couldn't find.
Well, not a detective, but yeah, you mean.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was a detective or inspector.
Yeah,
No,
he
it
was
wasn't.
the
Oh, it
police
was?
officer.
Oh, yeah. They even called him Sherlock, I believe.
Yeah.
I actually disagree with you, Joe, because here's the thing. Remember, if you manage to when you complete Majora's Mask during the credits roll, you do get cutscenes as payoffs for the quests you've done. Like, for example, if you've done Anju and Kafei's side quest, you do get to see Anju in a wedding dress, implying that they finally get married. So the character development you get for those quests does indeed end up being canon by the credits.
It's been a while since I played Majora's Mask, so I must have forgotten about that. I mean, I guess to me that feels weird, though, because, like, well, you technically have to go back in time, and, you know, unless you save certain stuff, you'll even lose certain stuff you got from a quest because, you know, time
the thing
travel.
is, Jova, even if you do end up going back to the beginning of the 3-day cycle, the game still remembers that you did that side quest at one point thanks to the Bomber's notebook. And the game will look at all your notebook at the end and tell which quests you've done and acknowledge them during the credits.
So,
for example, if you help out the band, you'll even see them perform at the credits.
Guys, the white chocobo's finally feeling like his clear self. I completely forgot about that arc. But he's finally fully recovered.
But he's breaking the frame rate.
The Angel of Valhalla.
Yeah.
Stop moving.
Fight again. It's all thanks to you.
Dr. Gazal had more to
Yeah,
do
where
with
Also
even is
pass.
Dr. Gazal?
He's been learning about the Chocobo for more than
What
a
is up with
century.
this game and its
a good
camera
reminder
angle?
of what people
Remember,
can
it's
do
it's
when they
it's
care
like that
enough.
since Final Fantasy.
What am I talking about? This is the event director of Final Fantasy X. What the?
Wait, there's still one mystery.
I think it disappeared.
Who was the young woman?
Escaping.
The one who spoke to you. And
Yeah, what about her?
I wonder. It's not like her voice is incredibly familiar to people who played 13.
Also, 13, what are you doing?
What are you doing in the background, 13?
Was she doing the chocobo dance?
Chocobo
No,
dance.
she was stretching supposedly, but
It
She's
looks like-
probably asking, why is Letting talking to an animal?
I've got some good news from Tilda. That dog she found is doing
I
much
don't
better.
know. That dog
No,
looked
no,
pretty
no, no.
miserable.
That dog is unwell.
The medicine you
Yes.
prescribed was exactly what he needed. You're a
No,
fringe vet,
no,
Connie.
she's
No,
not.
you're not.
You know my name.
Dun dun dun! 13's real name is Claudia! That has absolutely no significance on anything!
Yeah.
Why do people even call her 13?
She's just saying.
She's about to explain.
Yeah,
Why?
again, that doesn't answer my question.
Oh, he says it's because he can't be troubled to learn
So he
that
calls them
There
by
you go.
numbers. Isn't that what the bad guys in Code Geass did?
close to us. He's cared for a lot of people and animals over the years, and most of them have gone one way or another.
So he's a terrible.
He must be so tired of losing people he's grown fond
Maybe
of.
she's the real vet.
It's hard to say goodbye to people you love. To keep everyone at a distance.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Good.
Paul.
Good.
Paul.
The
No,
Final
wait.
Fantasy series should never do that kind of character ever again because they suck at it.
Hey, they did it fine with Cloud, which was
That's
years
the
ago.
thing, Jova. That was like a one-time thing, and they've never done it well ever since. That's the problem right there.
Or he's hoping they don't botch it up with the remake.
Nah, but, recent tech questions by Nomura tell me that we're fine because he did remember the whole dork aspect. Like to know what I'm talking about, he specifically said in an interview that Cloud is a dorky character, which he is. Thanks.
Okay, but still, Nomura, don't get too carried away.
Again, here's hoping Steve Burton will have a better direction this time around.
Yes, please.
I'm sure he will.
And let's not forget that even
Voice
though
acting in Final Fantasy has evolved a lot since then.
the complete version of Advent Children is a lot better, Advent Children is still kind of iffy.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh hey, it's the Cinderella castle from Disney World. I mean, the castle from Final Fantasy IX.
Sorry,
I
I
mean,
want to tell you, but Nier Automata will destroy this by full colors.
Yes.
Wait, let's just say that in Nier Automata we have an entire Disneyland knockoff.
Yeah, we do.
An area of twisted rock formations. The bare cliffs stretch from
yes,
Thank
by all
you,
means.
walking.
So
Thank you,
I
walking.
could never
walking,
have
walking
missed.
encyclopedia.
Hey, you know what this reminds me of? You know, there's a guy on YouTube who's blind but plays video games all the way through despite being blind. Like, he even did a
How does he
whole
do that?
full playthrough of Ocarina of Time. I'm wondering, is this the kind of I wonder, would he get annoyed by Hope?
Probably.
Even though he's
Pedro,
blind.
there's equipment made for this stuff. In fact, some of the people who make this stuff that help that kid actually play his games actually help develop the new Xbox controller.
Wait,
Really?
You mean the exact same kid who did the famous blind, and I mean literally because he was blind, playthrough of Ocarina of Time, that very same one?
More like the
He
people
didn't help
that
with
helped
he
him.
didn't help make the controller. The charity that helped him with the equipment that he used to play games is the same charity that developed the Xbox controller alongside Microsoft.
You know, it's funny, despite Microsoft's faults, they at least are making controllers for the disabled. It's like, okay, Microsoft, that's a good idea. Now, why can't you apply good business practices to your actual games and console?
That's a number.
So the
There's public image, and then there's doing your job correctly.
I mean, seriously, though, just recently they've released a new first-party IP that is available not on the Xbox One, and another IP deal that's available on everything but the Xbox One. All versions of the Xbox One, mind
I
you.
thought that was recording. I think.
Yeah, it's right before E3, so if anything changes after that, we're sorry for that.
Yeah, just watch the E3 commentary, I guess.
Although, I don't know, guys. Okay, who knows? Maybe they'll pull off what Ubisoft did last year and actually turn the tide of how people thought, because, you know...
Well, that's what they're telling us they will because
Well,
they.
I wanna hope Jova, but at the same time, I'm not too optimistic about it.
I guess to me, it kind of raises a red flag for me when a company when a company has to say beforehand, "Oh no, this is going to be the year that turns on," because you know with Ubisoft they didn't waste time saying, "Oh no, RE3 is totally going to be better." It's like, well, they just let people thought what they thought, but when it actually came time for E3, that's when they actually brought stuff to play. It's like. When a company goes out of its way having to say more about something, it does raise a flag
don't you
if they're
see-
not that
but
confident
Jova-
themselves.
But Jova, don't you see? Our priority is the customer, not the console.
Gee, it took you long enough. Since 2013.
There needs to be a balance in between those.
Even then, that's a blatant lie, as Sea of Thieves proves. So.
Yeah, and State of
And-
Decay 2.
And State of Decay 2, yeah.
Oh, by the way, now even Rare are okay with other companies working on the RPs because they kind of admit that they suck at them.
Well, remember, the new
I
Killer
heard.
Instinct was not made by them, so.
Yeah. First by
Anyway, Man
oh,
awaiting
okay.
at the end. That's
Oh,
waiting the end. That's his name. Man
guys,
awaiting-
I think the game is literally telling us what the characters are in their names.
And you.
But Ace Attorney does that all the time.
Also
But
Xylophone.
Ace Attorney does it with Funny Puncheroy, not literally a phrase saying what the character is all about.
Sorry, Jova, we have no wit.
You
No
know,
wit at all.
to paraphrase Dwibs, it's
Wait,
like...
is Wastrop be Damon?
I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, considering we literally brought in every talented voice actor,
So,
regardless of how little his role is.
So before becoming Naki's best friend, Prompto was doing this shitty job here. Noted.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Ray Chase is somewhere in here as well.
But yeah,
Check,
oh
I'm
well,
actually
don't you know,
really
Pedro?
curious.
Ray Chase was busy with Fairy Fencer F around this time.
Oh god, he's right.
So which do you think would have been worse, Pedro? This or Fairy Fencer F? for
I
Ray Chase?
seriously.
Fair Fencer F still. Fair Fencer F still. I
Yeah,
have
to
to
be
say.
fair, yes. As much as Toriyama is creepy with his waifu pandering, he doesn't condone pedophilia.
Yeah, this one doesn't glorify pedophilia.
Not to mention, Fair Fencer F is just straight up more annoying than this.
From here on in, I go it alone.
Like, a Fair Fencer F is literally
This is the
unbearable.
Savior's job.
No, around this time, Ray Chase was busy voicing Duncan in Dark Dreams Don't Die.
Dark Dreams Don't Die. Never heard of
It's
that.
a sweary game, I think. Maybe? No? Yeah, it's a sweary game.
Gee, I
Alright, to
wonder who
recap-
that could be.
Alright, to recap the basic gist of it, basically, the whole thing about this Angel of Valhalla leading the savior to there, it's just because, you know, the platforming could only be done thanks to the hovering of the chocobo. That's literally it.
Even though, wait, so but it's weird because in 13, chocobos actually could hover like that, and they were regular.
It's been years since I used chocobos.
Actually, no, Joe, remember.
Oh, wait, no.
Chocobos
Oh.
jumping were also scripted like that.
Well, my point being is like, well, they could still flutter, scripted or not. So, yeah. Also, don't other people live here too? Like,
Yeah,
I
how
mean,
do we get around
how
here?
did they get here in the first place? If the only way to get here is through the Angel of Valhalla.
I don't think they do, Joe, but they just stay there in their cities.
No, that doesn't make sense. They would have had to have gotten there in the first place somehow.
Alright,
Hope, no, just stop.
alright, so finally, we've reached the Temple of Valhalla.
Okay,
I
oh,
wish I was watching Temple instead.
question. If it's obvious enough, why did you need to tell us it like we're kindergartners? No. Like we're preschoolers. You know, no, like we're babies come right out of the womb.
That's
What are those over-impressed writing things?
I think
Jump
that's
is-
leftover
jump-
game data that wasn't programmed properly, but it's here,
It's a
looks
Matrix.
artsy.
Oh, look at that, Jova. You must be a fucking wizard.
Who are you looking for?
Right on schedule.
What are you trying to do?
Can you please plummet to your doom?
This game is starting to fall into a very predictable formula, isn't it?
Just dead people,
Yeah.
waiting for the end to come.
Aren't you a charmer?
I knew it.
You know nothing. You don't know what this place
You know
is.
nothing, Jones.
But I do.
It's a
Well,
graveyard.
this is about
Hey,
manufacturing.
Liam.
No one here seeks your salvation.
Why are you trying to save Caius of all
We
people?
seek only oblivion.
Like,
Because she's the savior, Joe.
Caius is bad news. Like, you know...
Still with the soul edge, I see.
You know, Yule's one thing. I mean, yeah, she was evil as well, but at the very least you can maybe say, oh, but one of the Yules is actually good. Caius, no. He has been bad news from day one. What purpose is there to saving
Wow,
the guy?
that
Oh, no.
didn't take
And
long.
Lightning died, and that's the end of Lightning Returns.
Oh no.
So, final thoughts?
Uh,
I thought
that's a
you'd be
good
dead
point.
by now.
That's an Adin surrogate quest.
Ah, death.
Eh.
Were it so.
So he died, but he
Won't let me
didn't.
die.
They won't let me die!
The
There you
game
go.
developers
So-
won't
Let me die!
Who's they?
Savior
The game
Uh,
developers, Jova. Toriyama doesn't want.
become a shrine to chaos.
Remember, Joe, I think we haven't established it, but basically, the chaos is an amalgamation of souls, so...
When was that ever established?
It wasn't, but they're pulling this off of their asses, even
Actually,
though...
no, well, multiple times, first on the murals in the Temple with Fenn, and then, well, or even before, with Vanille in the cloister.
Oh, so basically this is the underworld from Kingdom Hearts. If we're gonna lose our powers, apparently.
Are you giving me safety tips? That's
So yeah,
not-
basically, Caius casts something on Lightning that causes your HP to always be dropping.
And wouldn't you know, just like I called, Lumen gave her safety tips to the point where even Lightning took note of it now. And then Lumen was like, well, I'm totally not trying to help you, I'm totally ambiguous or against you, and then vanished.
Why won't you let Caius die?
I'm fine, but it was a
I'm
long
Lightning
fall.
Fyron and I'm
How far
fine.
down am I? Can you tell?
So basically Caius just chickened out to go downstairs and we have to follow him.
Don't you mean Claire Farron too?
Dead, no, what's the name? What's the phrase? That name has long since dead.
No. What she said.
Oh
is that,
no, guys,
she
we
changed her
got...
name because she fought defeat. She changed
Guys.
her
I'm
name.
trying to call Darth
Guys,
Vader.
I have bad news. We appear to have interference. I can't hear Hope. It's totally bad news, guys.
Interference.
You know what? For once, thank you, Skype, for being so terrible. If only it'll drown out Hope.
Yeah. Alright, so yeah, the gimmick of this dungeon is that your HP is always dropping. Aside from that, lots of platforming.
Oh no, so we actually have to hurry for once.
It's not that big a deal, Jova. All you really have to do is... yeah, that was my bad, sorry. All you really have to... See, the problem is that, again, much like 13-2, this is a game in which the control scheme was not made with platforming in mind. So you have to kind of get used to the way Lightning jumps, because she doesn't really jump like a platformer should jump.
Also, if I had to be honest, Caius' theme doesn't really fit as a dungeon theme. It's clear that this was made in mind as a character and I guess battle theme rather than a dungeon.
Well, we'll get to hear it in the boss battle as well. So.
Alright.
Yeah, even if you can't see it.
Still cool, just
It's a
not
cool
as cool
theme,
as
but
as
there's...
the dev wanted to be.
I think what doesn't help is like, well, there's not even much going on in the dungeon.
There you go, Jova. Now it is.
Ah.
Turns out the day that Caius was talking about is the Yules. The Yules will not let Caius die. That's why he survived at the end of 13-2. Because the Yules apparently can control who
It was
lives
kind
and
of
who dies.
foreshadowed in 13-2 during that sequence where Sarah finds herself in the void beyond with the multiple Yules.
So why the hell was Yule even helping him in 13-2 if she prevented him from dying?
That's actually a good question, Joe, because Yule's morality is a bit all over the place.
Let me remind you guys, at the
But
end of...
don't you see, Teo? It's multiple Yules, so of course the morality will be all over the place.
Let me remind
Don't
you guys,
see?
the
It's
ending of...
clever.
Let me remind you guys, the ending of 13-2 clearly had Caius spouting off like he and Yule had won a great victory and how him faking his death was supposed to be part of a bigger
Yeah, they were
plan
supposed
that
to
they
be
had
his
in
master
mind.
plan, a bear master plan in cahoots.
But now, all of a sudden, he's like, oh no, I realized that my plan was stupid and led to this, and I
I
regret
guess
it.
500 years made him change his mind.
Now, that's sloppy writing, like, we don't even see them attempted any plan.
So basically what you're telling me, Teo, is that post-credit scene that we showed
Was
in-
pointless.
was pointless.
Even more pointless than the
Not
ending of
just
the
that,
first
like,
13 game.
Caius, what exactly did you do for famous 500 years, including his damn for jacking off to the Yules? That's disgusting, man. Come on.
Maybe he had a
Teo.
harem with them?
Teo, he gets to live alone in a tower of 500 Yules. Come on, like, this is like,
It's not an harem, get over it.
Let loose on the world.
well, if this was a compile hard game, it would be.
You know, if the Yules can keep him from dying, why can't the Yules basically just drag
Okay.
him up to face his punishment?
My bad. Basically, here's the basic gist of it. Talk to the Yules, and the Yules will help us by creating platforms so we can jump over.
It reminds me of that future level in the Bugs Bunny Lost in Time where you need to create the platforms by pressing the button and then jumping on the right timing and the platform will agree.
Yep. Alright, so the basic gist of it is climb all the way to the top.
You know, I can't believe I'm saying this, but if any dungeon should have had encounters, it would be this with how bombastic the music is being.
There were some encounters before. Pedro just managed to, you know, avoid
Escape.
them with
Avoid
some
them.
line.
Oh, there we go.
There we
go,
go.
Jova.
I mean, granted though, I mean, this dungeon is so awfully barren, and you can just go right around them.
The girl who could
Yeah.
see the future.
Well, actually, it's actually quite hard to escape those two monsters. I actually got lucky there. Because most of the time you kind of are usually forced to fight all those things. But I did manage to lock out and find a little opening to squeeze through.
Conjured up by the forces in the temple.
I've played this game far.
Epic dubbing.
I have played this game way more times than any human being should, and I'm getting
Just like with David Cage product.
and I'm getting scaringly good at it. That's the.
You
I don't know
shouldn't,
if I-
Pedro. It's
I-
like
I don't know- I don't know.
yourself.
I don't know if that makes me sad or pathetic or good at the game.
Era.
I don't.
Yes, one of the countless Yules.
Also, I gotta love how the injury
Wait,
that the guy
wait,
using is clipping
wait,
through a
wait.
weapon.
Hold on, you're reborn over and over,
And we die.
but
Well, remember we already established that in the previous game.
It's,
Hold on, hold on,
Jova,
hold on.
hold
Let me bring
Jova,
up-
Due,
let
to
me-
the due to the paradoxes, it's the theory of the multiverse. Basically, every instance is a Yule is born again, you know, again and again, which means there is an infinite number of Yules, which means soul spamming.
here's the problem. 13-2 established that Yule was running out of Yules, because that's part of why Caius wanted to stop her dying, because she was running out of
Actually,
Yules.
no. The reason Caius wanted to stop is because he wanted to stop to see Yule suffering over and over.
Oh, no, remember, Tio, there's a scene where Yule supposedly dies saying that that's it, that's her number up, and that's why we're supposed to feel sad about it.
No, the only counter that there was Sarah's ability to foresee the future. Because remember, after a while, she would have died as a side effect of that.
Well, remember, Sarah was a UL, though. The point
Which
being...
is, in itself is very stupid, but whatever.
The point being, though, is like, well, by that logic, then Sarah would have been reborn. But if Sarah supposedly died permanently, then that means that what Yule's saying is BS.
Jova, implying once again that the writing of this particular trilogy is clever enough to take account of that. Again, you have to remember, Jova, these were the people who made the first game and attempted a time travel multiverse theory story. Like, that spells disaster right from the get-go.
Like, this is the kind of game that is clearly meant to look serious and mature. On the surface, you know, it looks serious, it looks mature. It spouts a lot of dialect that you may not get, so that supposedly means it's sophisticated. But when you actually peel back the layers, it's childish, it's scatterbrained, and just downright
And just
idiotic.
like a normal onion, it makes you cry.
Not just that, but once
And
again,
not in the way the game wants you to.
not just that, but there's also the fact that I still have no reason to care about any of this because you didn't make me care about Yule or Caius in the second game. What makes you think I'm going to care about them now?
And that's a
Because
good
saying
A
I-
lot of talking and a lot of going with the motions. There isn't really anything else going on here.
And that's another good point, honestly. You know, I go, okay, in 13-2 we might have had some reason to feel sorry for Yule, but here Yule literally says, "Oh, we may die, but we're reborn here." So I'm like, okay, so why
The
should?
death means jack shit, apparently.
Yeah.
Right. And that's
Again,
Huh.
for comparison, the songs of the ancients in the first year is structured similar to this, but it has so much more charm to
Wait.
it.
Hold on. So some ULs don't want him to die, so they keep him alive. Yet others do want him to die.
That's
Yeah,
just what
but-
I think say
I don't want to
paradox
be
is.
involved.
Yeah.
You already are. You've been sucked right
What, this
into the
game?
What do I do?
What do I
Why
do?
don't
What
you
do I
ask
usually?
her?
Sorry.
What an unusual view.
The truth
I don't believe you.
lies ahead.
No.
Besides, there's no way it can lie ahead because we have to go in an L shape, you idiot.
Hard to imagine what it's like. For millennia, you'll
This isn't
Alright.
a game of chess, dang it.
It's not as though they shared the
Or
same.
is
Jumping.
it?
They weren't the same person in every incarnation.
Wow,
Not
we
just
even
that,
captured that flower
you're
by
telling
moving
me-
like a knight.
Once again, I had to ask, how does this fit with what happens in the first game? Like, you're telling me that the Yules, who were born over and over again, actually knew what the entire quest for Bartandalus was supposed to be, the endless torture that the Falsi put the human beings to, and the countless Lassie that sacrificed themselves for nothing. the wars fought, all the fighting, all that suffering, and they did nothing about it.
Not only that, but if all of these ULs supposedly think differently, I'm sorry, I have a hard time believing that Caius is still alive. Like, you know, I mean, granted, because ironic as that is, that means that whether or not this is split, that fulfills the side who wants him alive. Because, you know, apparently they're in a constant struggle or something, but man, I'm like, okay, technically you're biased towards the side that wants him to live, and like, well, I mean, I have a hard time buying that the side who wants him to die wouldn't have some kind of win. Now, okay, as stupid as it would have been, maybe they could have said that he's stuck in an internal bout of limbo where no matter how much a painful death he dies, he comes back eventually, you know, alive or whatnot, but nope, not so much the case here, he's just here brooding in his cave.
Now I wish to do
Which,
something to help.
oh god, it's a man cave, isn't it?
What do you mean? How are you to blame?
Lightning, you're asking her how she is to blame after she kind of already admitted it, but okay, let's do it again.
Submit.
In our souls. It is the source of our wrongdoing and its result. Your suffering, Caius's nightmares.
So basically, what you're
We
telling
get
me is
it, UL. You are the fault of everything. You're actually gonna do
crawling
something
in
about it?
skins, these wounds reveal no deal. We come on, let's just.
Okay, yes, it's your fault. Now you're actually gonna do something about it, UL. Actions
no,
speak
she
louder
wants
than
us.
words.
No, that's a thing, Joba. She wants us to do something about it.
Now, look, if this were a
Yeah,
situ-
because Lightning is the savior. She will save everyone.
Now, look, if this were Ace Attorney, sure, words may have spoken better than actions because that's how you get stuff done in those games, but this is not Ace Attorney. We're not in court. We're in the... I don't even know what we are. Some sort of afterlife, even though everyone's technically
Yeah,
already
the world.
dead, but you can still die within. Whatever. We're basically in dire straits. Now actually do your part in hell. I mean, I guess you could say she's technically doing something for us by,
But Jova, she's putting up all those platforms so we can jump over.
Jesus Christ, why don't the ULs that want Caius to live hold him down or something? Slow him down so that we can have an easier time catching up with him. Again, there wouldn't be this many plot holes if the writing, you know, secured itself better, just couldn't say.
Well,
yeah.
Jova, once again, it's almost as if doing a time travel story was a bad idea.
Honestly, Tio, it's beyond doing a time travel story because, you know...
Well, yeah, this is a consequence to that, I mean.
Okay, Tio, this right here has nothing to do with it being a time travel, like the problems I'm mentioning right here, like, seriously, I mean...
Well,
okay.
no, Jova, the problem originates, well, they don't originate entirely, but they're a consequence to it. The time travel mean that the entire paradox with the infinite use, thus what you just said about the conflict that makes no sense of having Caius being still alive when the use should be, you know, working together about it.
True. But
Can
I
I
usually...
talk about how
I
those
usually can-
platforms look so
oh,
horribly out of place with the
Yeah.
actual dungeon?
Well, they're similar in texture-wise to the Chaos Engine. Remember it does that chess
There is
pattern.
something we have to tell you. You need to know who we are.
You're
We
an,
know already.
you're an
Fucking
ancient
hell,
cosmic
man.
being meant to foretell the future. What more is there to tell?
So, flashback?
Oh, it's
Oh,
a
goody,
13.
more recycled footage.
This is chaos.
So you're telling me that that thing that we saw in the first place from 13, well, or rather that extra cutscene in 13.2 was chaos.
It was
Now
us.
Lightning can learn to
We
use Chaos
destroyed the
Control.
world.
It took you this long to figure it out, you
Chaos.
fucking dipshit.
So...
Burst from the unseen realm.
Really chaotic about
You lived
this
countless
particular
different
scene.
Oh,
lives.
wait, hold on. No, that doesn't make sense. I thought the reason that thing happened was because the goddess Etra was summoning lightning anyway because of some unrelated matter.
Layer upon
Like,
layer.
what's
Jova-
Actually, no, Jova. It's more complicated and stupid for about that. I explained partially about it, but I'll be more detailed later.
It's
Okay,
here's the
I
basic
will
gist of
listen.
it, Jova. This trilogy is a fucking mess. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing adds up. It's full of contradictions that never get resolved, and
So,
we can't do anything about it because, well,
Ah.
it's not our. It's up to us. It's up to the developers.
So
Chaos
basically,
and all
the
its power
reason that
grew
crack
out of
that
your
lightning
need.
fell into in the aftermath of 13 is all because you all supposedly couldn't let go of Caius, and time decided to
Kinda,
punish them for it.
It's a bit more weird about that. Like you said, chaos is a thing that exists since the beginning of time as a sort of discharging energy where it contains souls about it. Like we mentioned, the fact that there are infinite use means that the chaos gets bloated with these things and it grows exponentially.
Oh.
That's what it was in the unseen realm of Valhalla.
Wait.
Hold on.
So now she's saying that the same UL that went to save him are also the same UL that went to kill him. You know, couldn't we have just said that?
Contradicting.
Couldn't we have just said that half a UL want to save him and half a UL want to kill him? Now we're saying that it's actually the same UL, they just have mood swings.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. But anyway, Jova,
I don't know,
basically,
maybe it's that time of the
Pedro,
month, I don't
for a
know.
good chunk of time, was supposed to be to regulate and try to administrate how the chaos flew. But the problem is that the process weakened her more and more. What happened, it was mentioned in the 13-2, briefly, but it was. What happened is that at the end of 13, do you remember the fact that Lightning and company were all crystals and then they got the crystallized out of nowhere? That was Atro's doing, but in doing so, she spent her last energy and went almost in an almost death state. Like, with those last energy, she used the
There you go,
chaos
we've
to
reached the
summon
altar of the
lightning.
goddess.
She used the chaos to summon lightning, but that's a story.
And there you go, Jova. This is where the final
In
after
this
credit scene of
dying world,
13-2 took
nothing is more
place.
precious than time.
Even though back
Why
then
do
it was
you waste
golden
it
in the
on
background,
me?
but whatever.
Does my
So,
victory
wait,
still
but
sting?
Tio, you all literally
Do
just
you
said though
seek
that apparently
vindication?
Hold on,
she's
Joe,
the...
I'll elaborate more in a second.
Okay.
I'm not here to fight.
So, are we gonna fight him as
That won't
Bahamut
wipe out
again?
I'm not here to fight. I'm not here to fight
So
you, even
you're
though I
here
clearly
to
am,
save
because
me.
well, you need a boss for this
To offer
dungeon.
me
Also, close
salvation.
enough, Jova. Basically, due to the events of 13-2 and now the 500 time year skip, Caius cannot
I
transform
refuse.
anymore into Valhalla, but he can
I'm
summon
not asking for
to his
permission.
side. Like
Why?
a traditional
Here needs to
deceiver
be
would.
brought under
Which just makes me
control.
wonder why he didn't just
I'm
summon him
gonna
in
do
the
what
first
Yule
place,
asks.
but whatever.
My God, are these people still talking?
Like,
Here we
wow.
go. Oh, here we go. This is a Star Wars ripoff
You think
music.
you know what she wants. Even if one you will praise
Just
for
listen
my
closely, Jova, to the
salvation.
music. It sounds
Not
straight up
the
John
man
Williams.
who knows it.
Oh my god, it does.
Very well.
You
Do
kind
your
of get those
best.
vibes
Hold on,
almost
hold on.
immediately, actually.
We're clearing this passage.
Save me.
Hey look, he's holding his sword backhand like Sephiroth would.
Listen, it's straight up episode 1. Like, we're
Oh,
not
this-
even trying.
If you wish to have my soul,
Then settle in Smash.
you must.
Yeah, because it worked so well the last time you tried to get the heroes in 13-2 to kill you. Oh wait. Like, Caius, not for nothing, you kinda suck at the whole master manipulator
No
thing.
more destiny.
What reason do I have to
Fate.
care about any of this? I don't
Once and
care
for
about
all.
anybody in this situation.
Because
Oh,
Pedro, because Pedro, it helps end the game.
So yeah, here's the battle against Caius. Basically,
There
just
we go.
try to keep using magic and be sure to defend whenever he turns into Bahamut to spec at you. And as long as you defend yourself when he does that battle, you should be fine. In the meantime, try your best to stagger him.
So
Even if you
basically,
don't stagger him, you should be able to at the very least decrease his HP. Basically, just abuse the shit out of the overclock, because remember, the overclock edge will be automatically refilled when you finish. So don't hold back. Just abuse the shit out of the overclock. Are you done, guys? Thank you.
By the way, a fun note, at the time of this recording, at least only for the Japanese version, Caius has been integrated into the plot of the city of Veromnia. So since that game is very plot heavy, I really wonder what his contribution would be on that.
oh yeah, I've tried out the City of Operande. It's a pretty
Did you
good
like
way.
it?
Oh yes, I'm liking it definitely so far.
Most likely, it'll be
Similar to the
written
previous
better than it
Dissidia,
was in
it's
this
fan
game.
fiction, but it's a good one.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the strength of it is that everyone is in character, and thus the things from the original work get compared the one way or the other. Stuff like technology, metaphysical concepts,
Servants of the cursed province.
Here we go.
Chaos is not
And there we
easily
go.
overcome.
Alright.
Yes, we know Lion.
Now it's time for our pretentious cutscene. Or maybe I'm wrong, and maybe the next cutscene will actually have some good writing.
No, sorry, Jova. We already did a good scene in the
Oh
previous
yeah, that's
part.
the thing, Jova. Get this. This is kind of waste of our time because we do not save Kaiu's soul,
So basically, this entire quest was just a waste of our time. Once again.
and
Wait.
still you need this for the best ending.
So wait, is he boasting that we can't claim his soul, or is he acting disappointed that we
action.
can't? Like seriously, the read of that line was awkward and confusing.
Are you okay, dude?
Also, didn't he already summon Bahamut during the fight anyway, so why should this be a surprise? Wait, what?
That
What
he
the hell
tried to
did you
kill
just-
himself, but it didn't work.
Even if one Yule
There you go.
desires my salvation,
He just
another
demonstrated to
demands
her that he
my
cannot
rebirth.
die.
So why was he trying to coax us into killing him if even he knew that wouldn't work?
With each death
Caius,
and
couldn't you
life,
just
Yule's
have done
soul
this?
was
You could have
splintered
spared us
anew.
one
The divided
long, useless
fragments
boss battle.
melting into the
I guess he
ocean
really
of
wanted to
chaos.
demonstrate his supposed
I
suffering.
guess he wanted to have
Is
some
one
minor
and many
amusement,
a
since it's
contradiction.
500 years that he's here.
When Yule pleads for my salvation, she speaks
You know,
the truth.
Why does he even
But
want to
at the
kill
same
himself
time,
right now?
you
Like, didn't he
cannot let
technically
me
get
go.
what he wanted? You know,
She
you all
must
to always
keep me
be there
here.
for him?
So Yule.
That's the
is
thing,
never
Joe, but
gonna
the
let
problem is
you
that
go.
Yule is still not happy.
She is
Because
but a
now it's a
child.
paradox.
So
Caius,
basically, Caius is trapped.
I'm pretty sure
Just
Kai.
realize it. So basically, Caius wanted to use his master plan, but he couldn't because Yule could not let it go.
Even though Yule was clearly stated to be evil by the end of 13-2 and in cahoots with him.
That's...
it's
Oh,
not. It's,
boy.
He was
it's
always
not.
first.
Not to
Don't worry,
mention
Joe.
this.
We'll resolve this in the ending.
No, not only that, but okay, so now it's about Yuo still being unhappy. Well, you know, Kaya stated that he knew that Yuo probably wouldn't be happy with killing Noelle, but he didn't freaking care. He just wanted her to live. So where's this whole thing about, oh, Yuo not being happy suddenly deterring him? Like, last I checked, he didn't care that much about her happiness so much as just keeping her alive. Like, if he really had cared about her happiness, he would have just let things go on the way they were.
Place for her in it. We must stay here. The chaos is where we belong.
That's your plan? You'll stay here with Yule and be destroyed along with the world.
Makes
Yeah, I know
sense
it's.
to me.
Yeah, I know it's
I am
stupid.
an empty shell. My
he
soul
wearing a
rotted
necktie?
away. I shall cast
No.
this body into the
An untied
chaos.
necktie, that's what it
I
looks
shall be
like
the
around
shepherd
his
of all
neck.
the souls. Destined
Well, I
to
can tell you
wander the
that
darkness,
it's not no
ever
more
to be
because in
reborn
13.2 no
in
more
your
only design
world.
faces.
Oh
Is this
yeah.
how you
Let
hope
me
to
check
atone
who
for what you
designed
did?
him.
I mean,
Do you think
Nomura
you
may
wash
be
away the
kooky
sin
here
of
and there, but he
destroying
has
the
his
world?
limits. Hmm?
What?
Yule,
Oh, Yule.
you want to be with Caius.
I want.
Are you're horny?
You want to stay?
With who?
This is literally.
If you don't want salvation,
The designer was Yuzuke
I
Naora.
can do nothing.
So basically, Lightning just admitted that she can't do jack squat, so you're telling me that we nurtured the Angel of Valhalla to come here and be told get lost.
Basically. This
Oh,
entire,
basically,
this
for
entire
13
quest was a waste. A big waste.
Wait,
The
Fucking
latest
time.
quest was most unsatisfying.
and now another UO?
I don't know, Teo. At least in Lautrec, we did get a new treasure animatas out of it. We didn't. We got jack squat in this.
Wait,
True.
what?
There's a you who loved someone else too.
Oh, that's...
Noel.
So is it just that one UO? Because apparently, according to Lumina, it's a UL that loved Noel, so... Oh, that means that not all UL can be happy.
Into Valhalla? It was all because of the power of the unseen chaos. And the chaos came from my girl, reborn and splintered. Generation
Wouldn't that
after
mean that UL is
generation.
responsible for the entire
For
13
you.
trilogy then?
It's
I
under
will.
control
Kinda.
for now.
I am going to die of an
The chaos
aneurysm
can
as a
burst
result
out
of this
again
trilogy.
anytime.
It will happen.
So you won't save everyone after all. Do you
Yeah.
think you can live with that?
I can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved.
True.
Makes sense.
And that's it.
Yes,
That's
that's it
it.
for the stuff that makes sense.
The Wildlands main quest is now complete.
Although
Yeah.
Lightning doesn't doesn't the Yule who wants to be with Noel want to be saved though? So aren't you technically walking away from somebody who wants to be saved?
Which means only the desert is left.
No, seriously, guys. I mean, doesn't that Yule technically want to be saved?
Sorry, Joe, but the game doesn't care. Why should we?
Seriously, even when the
We
game
will
is.
keep that thought in mind. We will just remember it. Right now. we're
Oh,
about to have
never
a
mind.
stupid,
You will.
The
moment.
game only cares about what Lightning wants.
Never mind, guys. I guess we're gonna talk to Yule again, even though I thought we had already come to a decision.
This is actually the same Yule that first spoke to us when we first arrived in the
So I
Wildlands.
called out for
Oh, let me guess.
Uh,
She's the one who wants to be with Noel.
to all the people past and future.
I don't know. They're all the same, so I don't
But
know.
remember,
I can tell.
Pedro, not all Yules think the same.
The doctor
Whatever, I
and
don't
everyone
care.
else here. Bit by bit,
So yeah, basically
you
everybody had a
managed to tell
role
the
in
story.
Destiny to bring her here
That
for
story
absolutely
is about
nothing!
Angel of Valhalla. She
God
fights
damn it.
So essentially, this is what the entire trilogy has been
I
building
don't
up
think we would have
to.
found each other if it
Nothing.
Wow.
wasn't telling that story.
I only pointed the way to your destiny. You and he have always been
This is literally Toriyama turning to his team and going, "Hey guys, why don't we string along the fan base for 3 entire games, only for them to realize that there's nothing but shit at the bottom of the rabbit hole?"
Oh, so the Angel of Valhalla was
Was
actually.
Odin all
Those poor
along.
rabbits.
Hey, you know, why couldn't we have actually wrote Odin? And a Dylan who's actually cool, can fly, as we've seen in the first 13 game?
Because recycling a model for the Chocobo, which add actual running animation and everything, would have been easier to do.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Chocobos are cool, but
Also, I
Odin-
love how Lightning's reaction to seeing her longtime idol and friend is, my idol and sorry, Odin, my faithful friend. It's good to see you again. Can't you tell by the happiness in my voice?
Guys, sorry.
So
Anyway, see you for the next part.
that was supposed to be the touching reunion with Lightning and Odin, I guess.
next!
Yeah, see ya.
See ya.
See ya.